Easy. Easy. Go to DriveClaim.com and shop thousands of available cars now. You can see vehicle photos, history reports, features, and see your real down payment all on your phone. Easy. I'm just a man.
Your Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a year old or 2 years old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our technical wizard recalculates your car value to give you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and choose love to the new way at Carvana.
The first 100 days, brought to you by Carvana, the new way to buy a car.
Tonight, 82 million deaths. The U.S. administering more coronavirus shots than any other country in the world. That's according to the White House. But some of the most vulnerable are still struggling to get access. The Rural Policy Research Institute is finding that 111 American counties don't even have a pharmacy that can give the shots. Adrian brought us out front with an idea that could change that.
Jackie Blumenberg just got vaccinated in her own home. Now it's her mother's. Jackie and her mom, 90-year-old Hattie, are getting the COVID vaccine thanks to a local program from Rush University Medical Center. They have limited transportation, and Hattie can only get out of the house if someone carries her.
It's a blessing and it's great. I hope everybody gets taken that they well.
A few miles away,
Or she's just gonna feel a little bit.
a vaccination team is at the Flores home. They're also among 120 people in the program, targeting those already hit by COVID. 71 people have received the vaccine.
This is like a blessing to have somebody come to the house, especially when you have a Latina, 92-year-old, beautiful.
Seven states by race and ethnicity. According to their data, the overall vaccination rate among white people is about 3 times higher than the rate for Latinos, and it's twice as high as the rate for blacks. The challenge in Chicago and cities all over the country is many of the most vulnerable residents are going unvaccinated.
There's structural racism that underlies all the structures in our city. We know that there's structural racism in the healthcare sector as well.
In this case, many on Chicago's west side live in a pharmacy desert and can't get themselves to a vaccine. The effect is clear in the numbers. As of mid-February in Illinois, Latinos make up 26% of COVID cases, but only 9% of vaccinations. In Maryland, blacks make up 33% of cases, but only 16% of vaccinations. And in California, the numbers are staggering. Latinos account for 55% of COVID cases, but only 18% of vaccinations. It's a problem President Biden says he's trying to fix.
The fact is, if you're 70 years old, you don't have a vehicle, and you live in a tough neighborhood, meaning it's a high concentration of COVID, you're not likely to be able to walk 5 miles. Because old, you don't have a vehicle.
But only 55% of COVID cases of vaccinations. And in California, the numbers are staggering. Latinos account for 55% of COVID cases, but only 18% of vaccinations. It's a problem President Biden says he's trying to fix.
The fact is, if you're 70 years old, you don't have a vehicle, and you live in a tough neighborhood, meaning it's a high concentration of COVID, you're not likely to be able to walk 5 miles to go get a vaccine.
The president's COVID package includes funding for mobile vaccinations, which have begun in states like Texas, California, and Massachusetts. Texas is starting a door-to-door program. Jackie and her mom say this program may have saved them, not only from the virus, but from an unequal system that nearly left them behind.
There's nobody no above no more. Every nationality is the same. We reach the same, we got the same.
And Adrian's joining us now. Adrian, what challenges are they facing taking the vaccine to people's homes?
Well, one of the challenges, Kate, taking the vaccine from the clinic here at Rush to people's homes is labor intensive. For example, when we traveled with the team from Rush, there was a short moment of panic. Someone who was scheduled to receive the vaccine had a scheduled conflict, so the team had to make a decision: give the vaccine to someone on its backup list or toss the extra dose. Thankfully, that day they found some. Kate?
Adrian's great report. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kate Baldwin. C360. Start right now.
All right, John Bergen here and for Anderson, and we do begin with breaking news. What could be an end to the Senate impasse over the president's COVID relief bill. That issue, the size and duration of jobless benefits, and the objections of one Senate Democrat, Joe Manchin. For 9 hours today, Democrats did not have enough Democratic votes to pass their bill. That seems to be over, we think. In a moment, we're going to speak with one of the senators present on the floor. First floor, let's see Brian Noble with the very latest lines. Dean, what do you learn?
Yeah, that's right, John. It does seem as though there's been a breakthrough here with Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia and the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. We are being told by several Democratic aides that Manchin has agreed to the extension of unemployment benefits through the COVID relief package through September, the beginning of September, and September 6th, I should say, was $300 a week. The plan that Democrats had originally proposed would allow those benefits to go through the end of September. There was also going to be a tax credit available to people that receive this benefit up to the first $10,200. That was also an issue that Manchin was concerned about. Now, Manchin was considering supporting a Republican alternative to this provision that was offered up by Rob Portman of Ohio. That would have cut off the benefits through July at only $300 a week and also not provide that tax credit. So this appears to be enough for Manchin to cut off those benefits a little less than a month earlier than what Democrats had originally intended. But this was a long day, John. A lot of angst and anxiety for Democrats that were concerned that they weren't going to be able to cut this deal with Manchin. And he was single-handedly holding this process up. Republicans attacked Democrats earlier in the day, saying that they did not want this to be a bipartisan plan and were then holding up the whole process. Keep in mind, John, we haven't even begun the process known as vote-a-rama, which is necessary for the reconciliation package where senators are allowed to offer up amendments on the floor to be voted on. That could still go on for several hours. So we're still a long way away from the finish line, at least from the Senate side of this COVID relief package. But this is a significant development as now Democrats have the votes they need to push this measure forward.
The Democratic votes they need. I just want to make that crystal clear for everyone. This was the Democrat Joe Manchin who is standing in the way of this. And just to be clear, Ryan, at this point, he's 100% on board as we sit here at 8:02 p.m. today, 100% on board. And what does it get for the 9 hour delay?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we still haven't got the full details of the negotiations yet. All we know is what was on the table and what they agreed to. And the principal difference was the timing for when these unemployment benefits would end. The Republicans were saying that they were concerned that the length of the benefits that were being allowed may keep people from going back into the workforce. If they were still allowed to get these unemployment benefits, that they may choose not to go back to work, especially as the jobless numbers were starting to come down. And we know that was at least part of Manchin's concern. But essentially, it was just a couple of weeks difference between the original Democratic plan and what they've settled on. This is certainly better for Democrats than what the Republicans were originally proposing. And we also know, John, that if the Republican proposal had been agreed to, when this bill went back to the House of Representatives, which they'll still need to do, it would have been met with pretty stiff opposition from the Democratic House leadership and Democrats on that side. So this seems to be a major breakthrough. And as far as we know, John, we still have a long way to go in this process. Senator Manchin doesn't have any issues with any other parts of the bill, but then again, we didn't know about this particular issue until this morning.
We thought he was fine with what was there this morning. So who knows at this point? Ryan Noble, thank you very much. Joining us now, Senator Jeff Merkley, Democrat of Oregon. Senator Merkley, thank you so much for being with us. Do you have any information, any more information on the deal that Leader Schumer is about to announce?
It sounded like you pretty much had it. The two changes that it looked like to me, and this was on a very quick glance, was that the time went from end of September to September 6th, so cutting 3 weeks off, which essentially means that there's time to come back right at Labor Day and decide whether the employment is such that we need to continue extending it further. So it gives us an ability at that moment after the Senate and House have only been out for a couple of weeks in August to get it done. So that's an important relief from the Portman amendment, which would have said, hey, we're going to cut this off just as legislature starts to break, and we might be leaving people stranded. So the idea here is we will not leave people stranded. It also appears that there was an additional income cap added for the tax deduction that would go to those who are on unemployment to help compensate for moving from $400 to $300. So those appear to be changed.
And you'll vote for this?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This is the right deal. This is in essence of what Senator Carper was proposing earlier, with some slight adjustments that address some of Senator Manchin's concerns. So a compromise has been forged.
How comfortable are you with this reality that I think the Democratic caucus faces now in the Senate, that Joe Manchin has a one-man veto over everything you're trying to do?
All 50 of us in the Democratic caucus have a one-person veto, and it tells you the level of challenge it is to work together. Our basic philosophies are the same. Let's rebuild America from the ground up, from Main Street up. But we're all going to have a series of things that we would do differently. And some of that leverage is exerted early and clearly in fashions that adjust the bill. And then sometimes there's some last-minute surprises. And when that happens, we work through it as we have tonight.
How do you assess how much, though, you as a progressive has had to give up? I know you were in favor of increasing the minimum wage because of the parliamentarian. That's not part of the Senate version of the bill, although I think some Democrats would like to try to force it in. But that's gone. The unemployment benefit, I know that you have a deal tonight, but I think you probably wanted $400 a week as opposed to the $300 a week. So you had to give up a lot. Do you feel like progressives are giving up more than the moderates?
You know, that tax deduction is going to do a lot to compensate for the difference between 400 and 300. There were major things that I wanted in this bill. I wanted a major effort to stop utility cutoffs because families should not be stranded without electricity or water or broadband as we try to recover from this nightmare of COVID. I didn't get it. But I'll tell you, this is a huge bill for America. This is so essential. Not only that it has the unemployment, it has the direct payment to individuals that with this 1,400 and the previous 600, we're at the 2,000 mark that we were aiming for. This has so much help in housing. The vaccination effort will accelerate with this bill. We have a lot of help for state and local government. This is about rebuilding America from Main Street up, and we can quibble over the details, but it is a huge winning compilation of support for ordinary Americans.
8 Democratic senators voted against putting an amendment on this to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. How do you feel about that? I mean, what does that tell you about the possibility of getting a minimum wage increase in the future?
Well, clearly, we're going to be back on this topic. There are various strategies about the minimum wage, how you phase it in over time, how many years does it take to get to 15. Oregon has a plan, my home state has a plan where rural areas where wages are much lower, but living expenses are much lower, that it creates a parallel but lower minimum wage. There must be a way to bring 50 of us together, hopefully 100 of us together, but a lot of us together. Nobody can live on $7.25 an hour. I would challenge anyone who votes against minimum wage to try doing that. So we don't want to create a shock to the economy. We'll figure it out. We've got to be back, and we've got to get this minimum wage passed.
So President Biden obviously ran on in his inaugural address. He talked about the importance of unity in bipartisanship. This bill that you're voting on has exactly 0 Republican support that we know of, at least tonight. So what does that tell you about the possibilities for bipartisanship?
Well, it makes us very aware of McConnell's philosophy of power, and we saw this when he was in the minority under Obama. His strategy is delay and obstruct, never reach a deal, make it as hard as possible. Don't let there be any successes while there's a Democrat in the Oval Office. I think this is a deeply corrupted vision of power that goes against the purpose of the vision of a Congress coming together to solve problems for America, not to paralyze Congress in order to create pain so that you have a better leg up in the next election. So we're seeing it again. We see the